We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
happy Friday.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill Dewitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about providing information instead of directly selling. I always save the Friday shows for the week, the one that's my favorite.
Ah, I like this. This is good. Cool.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Sandy wrote, when analyzing counties, what is a good substitute for Redfin properties sold for the counties that are not listed on Redfin? Thanks so much, Sandy.
Great question. Here's how it works. You can get data all over the place. Realtor.com is a great place to go to get visual data. They don't have a good download function at all, and that's for good reason. They just want you to look at it. They don't want you to manipulate it, which is understandable because they own the MLS. The real estate environment in the entire country is made up of about 344 separate little MLSs. So Phoenix has like 2, and then Arizona, I'm just picking on Arizona because I know there's 8 or 10 more in different regions, and some of them choose to participate with Redfin, and some of them don't. Inevitably, it's mostly the urban counties that choose to participate. So, and what do we deal in? Rural real estate. So Redfin doesn't cover everything. Redfin has fantastic data, and the downloaded capabilities are amazing, and the data that they share is truly open source. Mm-hmm. I use it every single day in some capacity. I'm on there looking at analyzing counties or if we're buying stuff, or whatever. So, but it's spotty. The coverage is spotty. Zillow has amazing data, but it's got holes in it. So what do? You use them all. And I can almost guarantee, and this is the takeaway on this, that 2 months from now, and certainly a year from now, some other great source will pop up that's downloadable and fantastic. Jill and I are licensed providers. Land Academy is licensed providers for DataTree, which is an amazing place to get data. It's not entirely free, but I'll tell you, when you get it, it's right. And Title Pro, which is Black Knight, and then RealQuest, the 3 major professional data providers. The ones that I mentioned before are applications on the internet that are kind of designed for everybody. So in some capacity, I use those all the time. As a Land Academy member, and I'm not selling anything here at all, I'm providing information because that's the name of the show. We provide all that, and it's hard to lose when you have that much data power behind you.
Yeah. You don't rely on just one source, is the point. And we do that, like you talk about that often when you're picking counties. I'm sure that's what Sandy's doing here, doing the red, yellow, green test. So when you'll pull up this resource and you'll double check it with that resource. And I do that even with doing my due diligence. I'll look a couple different places sometimes to confirm what I'm looking at is right.
When you look at 2 data sources in general, I'm asking you for real. How often do you find discrepancies?
Not very often.
Me too.
Just makes you feel good.
And when you do, it's like, okay, well, there's a problem.
Yeah.
There really is a problem then.
Exactly.
Today's topic, providing information instead of directly selling. This is the meat of the show.
So this is about selling land, and I would argue that it shouldn't be this hard. And that's why we wanted to talk about this today. And like Steven just said, he gave a different situation earlier in the week about providing information. He was talking about, was it a used car guy, or even just, we were talking about real estate people that we chose.
Real estate agents.
And they were providing information as a way for us to, they wanted to get us as clients, build trust with us that way and get us as clients. So this is a little bit different. I want to talk about providing information when you're selling a property. You're posting, and your description of the property and the actual property itself and the price should be so transparent and clear and wonderful that there really isn't much selling to do. That's really how it should go.
Gosh, well said. That's a great opener, Jill.
Yeah. And people go, what are you talking about? And I can prove this because not only do we, but I have hundreds of people with me in Land Academy that have people in the middle of the night. They never even talk to them. They check out, put their credit card in, and buy a property, and there's no talking about it. The next thing, a page pops up in, and they fill in what their deed information is, how they want the deed done, and the deed's in the mail. You can have a transaction like that there's just no talking. And that's the perfect scenario. So, and when people do call, because sometimes they do, and I'm dealing with it a lot right now, as a matter of fact. I'm actually personally involved. I have some transactions that are going directly to my phone because I want to sell these babies. They're kind of mine. And it's so easy. When the calls come in, all I'm doing is, making sure, usually they see the posting. That's how they found me. I'm just reiterating the reason why I fell in love with the property, what the attributes are that I saw, like, hey, this one's mobile friendly and cannabis friendly, whatever it is, and why it's such a good deal. It's really, I'm not really selling.
The deal should speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've put that on signs in the past in really rural areas. Putting up a sign, believe it or not, is still a great way to sell property because people that are around that have real estate or live around that land there's a high degree of percentage that they're going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, 22 acres for sale, call this number, the deal speaks for itself. You're going to get a huge response on that sign. That's my point here. These deals, we don't do a deal unless it speaks for itself.
Right.
If we have to sell it, really sell it hard, she's got to get on the phone and do all this stuff, we won't buy it.
We won't, or we won't buy her. It's just going to be a problem. So usually when they're calling too, by the way, they're calling, now all you're really selling is you. You're not selling, if you did it all correctly, and they pick up the phone and call, now they're confirming you're a real person and try to figure out how easily the deal is going to get done.
Right.
That's really kind of it. And they want to make sure you're not a nut, and it's going to be, an easy transaction. The goal here is to make sure that you are properly relaying, whether it's on the phone or in the posting, everything about the property. If they call, you just want to make sure they're a good fit. If they're a hiker, you're not selling them this infill lot. And if they want an infill lot, you're not selling them this 20-acre parcel way over here. That's not what they want. Yeah. You're trying
or
to
farmland.
You're trying to find out. So this property is great for A, B, C, and D. That's what you should be saying. They're going to go, yippee-ki-yay, that's what I thought. That's exactly what I want. That's how you want it to go. And if you say this property is good for A, B, C, and D, they go, oh, shucks. I don't have 4-wheel drive, and my wife would never do it. I didn't know it was that far away. Not a good fit. Let's move on. That's how it should go. And here's my last point, and we can talk about this. If you sell somebody, you're like next person that calls me on this property, watch me. I'm going to sell them. They don't even know it, but they're going to buy it. If you sell them something that they don't want and they don't need, it will come back. Last thing you do is want to hard sell them on the phone and just tell them everything they want to hear. Oh, sure, I'm sure your smart car can make it there. Can you imagine? And it's all like,
I bet.
Sure, just head on out there with a picnic on your smart car. It's going to be great. Have a good time. And they get out there and go, what the heck? That's not going to work. That's never going to happen. And it's especially you sell them on this, they give you the money, and they drive out there in their smart car. They're going to be pissed off at you, calling you from the property, from the first place they got cell service, yelling at you, going, "This is not what I wanted." And you get to undo all that. You don't want to do that. You want them to be thrilled about this. You want them to go out there and because a lot of our transactions, as us, people don't believe this happens, but there's so many transactions that we always buy them sight unseen, but we even sell them sight unseen. So that's another reason you got to have good pictures and everything. You want them to go out there and go, yep, this is exactly what I thought it was. And actually, as I'm standing here, the view's even cooler than the way I thought it was going to be. Wow, the pictures didn't probably convey how cool that stream is. By the way, I have a property yesterday. Let me throw this in here. I didn't even know that. This guy called me. He's going to buy this. It's hilarious. We've talked 3 days in a row. His uncle's involved. I'm sure they're just moving money around at this point. Mm-hmm. He's the one that's so good at mapping and said, by the way, there's no fence. That was the one down the road. I know where yours is. And he said, there's kind of like a stream on this. I'm like, That's even better. I didn't even know there was a stream on there. I love it even more now.
Now he's providing information to us.
Totally.
That's done. When that happens, we're all done.
Exactly. Yep.
You want to give all the information. You want to tell a little story about potentially what's possible, and then you want to shove it out there into the world, and whatever. This is how we buy property too, and have it come back. Have the person that choose that property, not the other way around. You don't go choose the property that's going to buy the property. The person that's going to buy the property. That person chooses that property, and then they call Jill and make sure we're not crooks. It's that. And the same thing happens with acquisitions, and this didn't happen on accident. If you look at our template mailer on 020, on offers to owners, which it's free, you can go download it. That template really informs the person who already owns the property. It's very specific. Hey, Mr. Jones, we're interested in buying your 5.23 acre property in XYZ County for that it looks like you purchased it in whatever date. We're interested in buying it for X. And then we provide more information about ourselves. When somebody gets that, you have to open it and read it. Like, how do these people know all this stuff about this land that I own? And so that's what a mill merge is for. So you're providing this. A lot of people call us back and say, how the heck did you get this information? And I looked it up, and you're right. And you know more about the property than I do. Exactly. How is that possible? That is really a great first impression, that you care enough. Instead of doing what I see everybody else do on the internet with land. Hey, Mr. Jones, I want to buy your property in Cochise County.
If that. Sometimes it's really neutral. Like, I want to buy.
Call. Yeah, I want to buy your property.
Exactly.
I hear current occupant.
Yeah.
By the way, there's no current occupant on land.
Yeah.
So, it really these details.
That's funny.
These details really matter.
That's actually really funny.
Smart car.
You like my
If you have a smart car, call me and I'll put your smart car in my F450 and we'll go look at the property.
Yeah, take that out there, roll it into the back of a real truck, a real car.
So you're still the girl for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the right buyer too, by the way, is not going to say you're going to meet me there. Why? What's the point of that? Yep, there it is.
You know what else cracks me up about perk tests? So this is a big thing now. I don't know why. It never was in my whole career. And
Hasn't
for the
come up
last
lately.
year, here, if someone's interested in a piece of land and they ask if it perks, it's just hang the phone up.
I think
And
sometimes.
here's why, because they can go out and do a perk test themselves.
They could.
They can do all. That's what I would do. We would do all this stuff, and then we would call a person and say, "How do you want to do this deal? Let's get it done." I already did all my due diligence, and it took 2 days, and I'm ready to buy.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. You do your research ahead of time. Like if you're buying a car, you know, you do your research. You know what the gas mileage is. You know how far the electric range is, and then you go in to buy it. You don't. I'm with you. We're on the same page, babe.
Yep.
Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
And I was really trying to think of a car that is not you can't easily traverse over a lot of terrain. And smart car came to mind.
I mean, now more than ever, you can get the vast majority of questions or information that you want about anything on the internet, and then it just becomes finding, doing the deal. You don't walk onto a car lot and say to the sales guy, so it doesn't have air conditioning? What's the towing capacity? You should know all that stuff. You just want to go in there and get about the right price.
Right.
It's information. All this information is available. There's the salesman, which is, the further we get into this information age, the more it's just, I love it.
It's easier.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
For
so
smart people,
nice.
it's just great.
It is. It's true. I think my Vespa tires, do you think they're bigger or smaller than that on a smart car?
I don't know. I don't know anything about those smart cars.
Isn't that funny?
I mean, I love the fuel efficiency.
I might argue my Vespa tires are bigger. I'm going to check it out.
I'm not knocking smart cars. I think it's great for the environment.
It's true.
And there's all kinds of stuff. It's just not the right vehicle to live in a rural county.
No, if I lived in downtown San Francisco, I'd have a smart car.
Right.
Or no car. That's even better.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please check out our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. And please give us some feedback on the shows you love.
We're Steven Jill.
and
Information
inspiration
to buy undervalued property.